Good evening, everyone. It's 5 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Sean Callan. Here. Julie Chetney.
Here.
Tom Chapa. Here. Dave Crisafulli.
Here.
Sean Onmacht.
Here.
Tim Rice. Here. Jennifer Salazzo. And Leah Norton is not here as well. If you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Seeing we have no one for floor to the public, we'll move right along to acknowledgments with Julie Chetney.
Okay, we'll start with Riley School. Spring sidewalk positivity. Riley students took advantage of the spring-like weather by heading outside with sidewalk chalk to create colorful drawings and positive messages around the building. It was a wonderful way for students to spread kindness, creativity, and school spirit while enjoying some fresh air. The STEM Challenge with CMU. Sixth graders worked in small groups during a hands-on STEM activity led by the Children's Museum of Oswego, using limited supplies to design and build their own mousetrap-style contraptions. Students collaborated, tested ideas, and problem-solved together while putting their engineering and creativity to the test. Also at Charles E. Riley, they had the Kindergarten Royal Tea. Kindergarten students celebrated the culmination of their CKLA unit on Kings and Queens with a special royal tea. The celebration included a royal parade and concluded with a tea party featuring crumpets, bringing their learning to life in a fun and memorable way. It's a big table. It's awesome. All right, the No Bully Zone presentation. Presenter Chris Johnson visited Riley Elementary to deliver his engaging The No Bully Zone program. Students participated in a school-wide assembly focused on understanding the differences between bullying and unkind behavior and learning how to seek help when needed, followed by an evening presentation for families to extend the conversation at home. At Kingsford, they held their STEAM night at KPS, brought together students, families, and staff for an evening of exploration and hands-on learning in science, technology, engineering, art, and math. STEAM Night is a wonderful example of how learning can extend beyond the classroom while sparking curiosity, creativity, and collaboration. Thank you to the staff and families who helped make this evening such a success for students. Fitzhugh Park School is next. Please join Fitzhugh Park in celebrating Mr. Heater's talented student artist. Several students were selected for the My Hometown Banner Project, where their artwork will be featured on banners displayed throughout Oswego this summer. In addition, student artists were chosen for Senator Ryan's 50th Senate District Art Showcase. Their artwork will be exhibited this spring at the district office in Syracuse, culminating in a special art show in mid-May. Participating students will receive certificates from Senator Ryan, and their artwork will be returned following the exhibition. Congrats to all Fitzhugh Park artists for this wonderful recognition. The Minetto team brought the spirit and the smiles to the annual Oswego Irish Outrun Autism 5K. We love this event and are so grateful for the amazing support of the Oswego County Autism Task Force provides to our school, students, and families. They were also the recipient of the Community Spirit Award. At the high school, students at OHS explored career pathways during the Trades and Unions Expo, connecting with local unions and industry partners to learn about apprenticeships, certifications, and opportunities in the skilled trades after graduation. Thank you to our community partners for their support. On March 12th, all juniors and seniors attending Launch Your Life, which featured Brian Diaz-Zimello as a guest speaker. There was also an alumni panel discussion, student Q&A, and a career coach discussions. It was a fantastic event for all. Thank you to the SUNY Oswego for their partnership. Shout out to Mrs. Jaquin and Ms. Rappin for their hard work in organizing these fantastic events for our students. At the middle school, March has been a busy and exciting month at OMS. Students have been hard at work preparing for their upcoming school musical, The Little Mermaid, which will be performed on April 10th. Rehearsals are in full swing as our talented cast and crew get ready to bring this beloved story to life for the community. In addition, our Battle of the Books competition was a huge success. We are proud of all the students who participated and are especially excited to send our team, the Bookworms, on to represent the middle school at the county battle on March 16th. We wish them best of luck as they continue the competition. Last but not least, the OMS community showed its school spirit by cheering on two of our students, 7th grader Mia and 8th grader Devin, as they headed off to compete in a varsity playoff game. We are proud to support our students as they represent our school at the next level. Also, more in athletics. It's been an exciting week for Buck sports. This past Friday, the girls basketball team traveled to HVCC to take on Bethlehem for the state championship. Even though they lost, they had an amazing season. Great job, ladies. On Friday, March 6th and 7th, the boys took the pool at Ithaca College to compete in the state championships. Nico Canale took 11th in the state for the 1 meter? I'm the swimmer over here. 1 meter diving, while Cooper Dawson finished 15th in the 200 freestyle and 18th in the 100 butterfly. The 200 freestyle relay team of Dawson, Elliot Newell, Jack Canale Giberson, Dylan Danisecco, and Liam Sugar placed 21st. Also, on Friday, March 6th, indoor track athletes Sophia Otaki and Colin Wallace traveled to the Staten Island to compete in state championship. Sophia placed 8th in the 55-meter dash and 15th in the triple jump. Colin placed 18th in the 1,000 meter. Congrats to all. Lots of great stuff.
Thank you, Julie. I just want to give a shout out to you for the run, the run, because you're a significant player in that event, and it was really successful this year.
It was great. It was really, again, a shout out to Minetto. They have come out to the event multiple years. I won't venture to guess, but they come out as a team and represent the mission and the support and their students that they serve. So they're a great group.
Thank you. So we'll move on to Board of Education. We have a number of items. First, a resolution for the 2026 annual meeting and general election. If I could get a motion for that, please.
I'll move it.
Thank you, David. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tim. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Item B, resolution to appoint the chief election inspectors for the May 19th, 2026 annual budget vote and Board of Education elections. Can I get a motion?
Move it.
Thank you, Tim. And a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Julie. Any discussion? I just want to say thank you to the people who show up because they are there at the polls from 9 to 9. Every year they do a great job, and whatever you can do if you meet them, just thank them because they do a tremendous job. It's a long day. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. C, resolution to appoint Board of Registration for the May 19th, 2026 budget vote and Board of Education elections. Can I get a motion?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Tim. And a second, please. Thank you, Sean. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Resolution to nominate Mr. Brian Hessig at the Oswego City School District's County Board of Cooperative Education Services representative. Can I get a motion, please? Thank you, Sean. And a second? Thank you, Tim. Discussion? I just want to say thank you to Brian as well. He's been in this position, I think this is his third time running, so he's been out there for 6 years, and it's a commitment up above and beyond. And we talked about it, and I'd like to get him to come in and present to us, just give us little updates. So we will discuss. I'll reach out to Brian and do that. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. And finally, E, Outdoor Adventure Club annual overnight trip to Camp Hollis, June 12th through the 13th. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Tim. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Julie. Any discussion? Anything? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. And now on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Just a couple of items. First, on facility work, we are just 2 weeks away from actually starting work in both the 2018 Phase 4 project and the 2024 project. On the screen behind you, that is kind of a site survey of primarily Layton. So at the very bottom, I know it's small for board members, but at the very bottom is Buck Boulevard. You see Layton to the middle left. The box, that green box there, is just to the left of tennis courts. That's what is referred to as the caged parking, if you will. So that entire area will be turned over to contractors starting over April break. So they're going to fence off that area up to Ed Center into Layton, and the back side there to start work on. There's some drainage that has to get started. There is the playground that has to get started. But there's a number of items that they want to try to get a heads up on. Layton staff already has plans for recess without access to the playground, because the playground will be closed off as soon as they begin that work. And the reason we're turning that over this early is because there is such significant work on the high school and Layton campus, and it is their plan to try to get all of this work done in one summer. We had originally planned 2 summers. Their hope is that they can get it all done in a single summer. And it's in the district's best interest to do that. It's less interruption. We don't have to shift programming or other items out of the campus to accommodate that work. So I do feel like this is a positive thing for us as we move forward. But we also sent notice to all of our neighbors along Liberty Street, along Utica, up some of the side streets as well, just to remind them of work. We've been talking about this work in newsletters for over the past year, but wanted to make sure our neighbors understood timeline, when to start, and to expect, hey, there's going to be some increase in noise, maybe some traffic on around the campus, just so no one was surprised. So we sent that out last week. Again, just trying to be good neighbors. This is the last Board of Education meeting that will be in the library this school year. We will be shifting over to the cafeteria for our next meeting and for meetings until this library is done. So we are turning this library over to the contractors, again, over April break, so they can start demolition in here. If you notice, there's lots of boxes around. They've already started packing up boxes, getting ready to shift. The library does have a temporary location, a larger classroom, study hall classroom that is going to be utilized for students. Because the library is a safe place for kids to come, whether it be during study hall, maybe during lunch. And so we felt it was important to have an alternative space for them to seek and go. So there will be a much smaller space, but a space nonetheless during that construction. We anticipate handing over one of our 2 gymnasiums middle of April, beginning of May, and then we'll be turning over the technology suite on June 1st. And again, all of this is on trying to phase. Again, the goal here is we have at least one of the gymnasiums in the high school complete before school starts, the second shortly to follow early in the fall. And then also we hope to have the technology suite completed over the summer and available for our students in September. And so most of the work that we have being done is not 2 months worth of work. It's significantly, so it's about how do we find ways to phase that in a way that positions us to have the least amount of disruption possible, and to get as much work done as possible. So I think we've got a plan to do that. So there will be some disruption, but the high school, the staff have done a great job of making plans to make that adjustment. I know I sent this out to the board last week, but just a reminder, the City BOCE's annual meeting is April 15th, begins at 5 p.m. if you could RSVP, if you are going to attend, this is not only their annual meeting where BOCES presents its annual budget, and that's a part of our budget as well. So it is important to understand what's ultimately in their budget. But it's also a time where culinary students from around Oswego County get to showcase their skills. And so there is a little dinner that is put on again by these students, and they do a fantastic job. And oftentimes there are some musical groups from various districts that also get to showcase their talent. So it's definitely a student-focused night as well if you get a chance to go.
Yeah, if anybody, I went last year and I was blown away. Like, I didn't know what to expect, but when I went out there, it's pretty cool. So if you can find the time and have the opportunity just to check it out this year, it's neat. And they're all like, it's kind of cool seeing all the different schools that are involved. How many students we have from Oswego and the other districts in our county, and they do it with a lot of pride. So it's pretty neat to see.
Yeah. And if you have more time than that day they're going to open up the whole campus for an open house. So it's going to be accessible. So if you want to get in and see some of the programming, and things that they're doing, different buildings, it'll be open throughout the whole day. But it is a wonderful event. We had a lot of kids in the culinary program from Oswego, and it was wonderful.
Yeah. No, thank you both. Again, I did make the board aware of this last week as well. The legislature, both the Senate and the Assembly, provided their budget proposals. Last week we got a chance to look at those. We don't have any definitive ideas of when they'll settle. Again, April 1st is the deadline. They often don't necessarily meet that deadline. But a couple of items just for us to keep in the back of our minds, because next month is really a heavy time for us, meaning the Board of Education and I and Mr. Clucci, to really buckle down and finalize the 26-27 budget. In our presentation a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the executive budget proposal only had a 1% change in foundation aid, which is significantly less than what the district has been used to over the last couple of years. The legislative, both Assembly and the Senate, did raise that from 1% to 2%, but again, not at the level that we would have had previously. So it is something that we're going to have to take a look at. The universal pre-kindergarten that was in the executive proposal, which is all 4-year-olds will have access to full-day UPK by the 28-29 school year. The Senate and the Assemblies also, budget proposals had that in there. However, one unique difference was specific to the Senate, which would authorize district to receive transportation aid for UPK students. Currently under law, transportation aid doesn't apply to UPK students. And so there would need to be a law change, and that would absolutely benefit. But that is something that will, of course, have an impact on our budget as we think forward as to what does that look like? How do we accommodate? Do we have enough space for the number of individuals who would like full-day UPK? Those are all really important items for us ultimately to discuss. Again, I want to just emphasize what Tom had already mentioned and Julie talked about, but we really had some incredible success this year in athletics, from indoor track to swimming, and then, of course, to girls varsity basketball. And it's not often in 2024 that you can say that a school district has many firsts left. But our girls' varsity basketball program did achieve a first, and that seems a reason to celebrate. First time that that team has made it that far, which is just outstanding. So congratulations to all of our student athletes. Last piece, I just want to do a huge shout out to our transportation department, our custodial, our maintenance, our grounds guys. Once again, winter decided to come back. I chuckled when I saw Riley and spring chalk, and then suddenly we're dealing with winter weather again. We had another day where the snow decided it was going to linger much longer than any of the data that I had. And so we had a much more difficult end of the day than I would have expected. But those crews are outstanding. And our transportation crews, I get an email every day when our final student is dropped off. That always happens. And I got that email just before the start of the meeting, and they were able to transport all of our students home in normal time. It's not even as if those buses were late. So it doesn't matter. All of those staff do whatever is asked of them, and they do it in any type of condition. And so we're grateful and thankful to have them a part of our team here at Oswego. And that's all I've got.
Thank you. We'll move along now to committee discussions. I think we only have one. Julie?
Okay, hi. I just wanted to touch base on the policy committee. We did receive the first batch of policies for review. And when I say batch, it's more like, what's the word, Ray? It's
A tranche?
yes, a tranche.
It
I
sounds
thought
more
it was
a
smaller, and then
tranche.
I realized I wasn't going to finish it as quick as I thought. So we're gonna be working on that batch of policies probably for the next month or two. And we also did complete the Board of Ed handbook. So I don't know, do we have to do anything else with that other than put it to print for future board members? Right? I don't know. Is that all we have to do with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, I don't have a sense yet of when we'll start to get the next batches ultimately in.
Okay.
So,
Okay, that
yeah.
would be really helpful. I'm excited to have that to offer. And also, the ad hoc committee, which is a committee that myself and Jen and Leah are going to meet on April 7th to develop the student ex officio onboarding process. So we're meeting that day before our board meeting that day.
Excellent. There are some handbooks and stuff from NISBA. They are going to be coming out with another one by the end of the year.
Okay.
But I will get that information to you.
Perfect,
I'll send you a
perfect.
link so
Yep.
you can access that.
Great. And then I just was wondering, maybe Tom, did you want to mention about the June 2nd meeting? Just not yet, about honoring our retirees?
Yeah, I think we'll make mention of that every meeting that we can. When we have no retirees on this one, but yeah, we're on June 2nd at that meeting. We're not sure how we're going to do it yet, but we want to honor all our retirees from this year and bring them together and celebrate them. So that's our plan right now. So if you're out there and you're listening and you're retiring this year,
Yes.
hold June 2nd aside.
Set it aside.
Yes,
We'll send some invitations.
yes, definitely.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. So now if we can move along to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I'll move.
Thank you, Julie. And a second? Thank you, Sean. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. And on to personnel. Again, I would like to move to accept items A through I on the personnel agenda. Thank you, Tim. Second, Sean, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. And now on to finance. If I can group these together, I'm going to put, first of all, item A, use of school facilities, Oswego Valley Snow Belters Barbershop Chorus. Can I get a motion?
I'll make it.
Thank you. David, can I get a second from Tim? Thank you very much. Discussion? I just wanted to say, I think this is a great opportunity. It's just kind of a win-win-win situation. If you looked at it, they come and they're utilizing our facility, which is great, and partnership in that respect. They also have one of our students that is a participant in the group as well. And then ultimately, the funds that they raise, they donate to charity. So it's a win-win-win all the way around, and I think it's a great opportunity. So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you.
I didn't know I needed to sign it, so I'm sorry. That's why I came, just to speak on behalf of our course. Please know how much we really appreciate this. It's a special event for us. It's not just us putting on the show. We're bringing in another ladies barbershop champion chorus from Watertown. It's a massive event
Excellent. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. You're welcome. Will do. All right. And if we can move along to items B and C, for donations for Donors Choose for the high school and donation for Charities Aid Foundation for Exelon for Fitchie Park School. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Tim. Can I get a second? Thank you, Sean. Again, I will just say thank you to all the donations we received throughout the district. And now if I could put together items D and E, budget transfers from buildings and grounds and warehouse and food service. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Sean. A second?
Second.
Thank you, David. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. And then can I do F, motion or memorandum of agreement with Center for Instruction Technology and Innovation for Early College Access. Can I get a motion for that, please? Thank you, Tim. Can I get a second? Thank you, Sean. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. And now, moving on to item G, the seeker resolution type 2 for vehicles for 2026. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll move it.
Thank you, David. And a second? Thank you, Sean. Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. The bond, item H, bond resolution transportation vehicles for March 17th, 2026. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll move.
Thank you, Julie. And a second? Thank you, Sean. Any discussion? No? This will be a roll call vote. So, Diane, would you like to do it, or would you like me to do it? Okay.
Sean Callan. Julie Chetney.
Yes.
Tom Chapa.
Yes.
Dave Crisafulli.
Yes.
Tim Rice.
Yes.
Sean Onmet.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion carries 6-0. And finally, a resolution approving the proposition purchase of vehicles dated March 17th, 2026. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll move.
Thank you, Julie. And a second? Thank you, Tim. Any discussion? Nope. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. And now on to items from the board. Yes.
I just want to thank the district and the community for the support they had for the girls' basketball team, from winning their first Section 3 title, and then the walkthroughs at OHS and OMS, the police escorts, the coach bus, the lunch, the shoot-around at Siena College, the watch party at the press box, and then the state game. It didn't turn out the way we wanted it to, but the experience for all those girls was absolutely awesome.
Excellent. Thanks, Sean. It was great. I mean, I did go down to, I didn't get to go to Hudson Valley, but did go down to SRC, and it was exciting. It was great to see. Anyone else? Jules?
I just wanted to say that for people in the community who are looking to do something in March, on the district website, I was really happy. I'm embarrassed to say I never really noticed this because I try to pay attention elsewhere, but lists all of the really amazing events, concerts, musicals, everything that's going on in our district. And if you say there's nothing to do in Oswego in March, then you are wrong, because there's a lot going on in this school. So I really loved seeing that list there. I'm sure it's been there forever, but I just caught my eye. I also wanted to say kudos to the committee, your committee, Sean. I've gotten a lot of feedback about this newsletter. People are just saying they really love seeing it. They really love reading all the great things that are happening in our district, and it's refreshing, was what someone said. So people are reading it. And it's very well done.
Anyone else? All right, I just have a couple of things. I was able to go down to the small city school district it was their budget meeting, and there were some representatives that were there. It was this past Monday. I think it was Monday. They're all rushing together, or last week. And a lot of the districts that were there, their concerns are the same as ours, that and they verbalized it. It was basically the 2% increase is not enough. It's not enough to cover all the demands. The energy concerns, and I bring these up because these are what were voiced, because of the increase of energy cost and what it's going to cost us going into next year, concerns. The electric buses, still the same concern, pushing to have that pushed out farther so we don't have the demands put on everybody in all the districts right now, because we don't know feasibly how it can be done. But what they basically came back to is we need to speak out and speak to our representatives, call them, relay our concerns, and be a voice to them to make action, make things happen. So just be aware of that if we have the opportunities to. And I can get you contact information to our legislators, our senators, everybody, but also the governor, to reach out to her. So that was a big concern. I had also sent out, you may have got it, should have gotten an email from Oswego County School Boards Association, the application for Board Member of the Year. So if you have anybody that you want to submit, please do that by the end of this month. And then I also wanted to shout out and jump on with what Ray was saying. We also had the Marching Buccaneers this year, to go and win that state championship. We are very fortunate, and I think it's, I think all those wins that I hope they carry on to the culture, because it was a lot of dedication and time and effort that all those kids put in and all those teachers put in all the time to make that happen, to make that materialize. And I'm very hopeful that is going to spread throughout the district and carry it on, because the girls basketball did so well, and they're a young team, and they've got a future to keep that going, and I think that's very exciting. So that's all I've got, but that was it. So at this point, we do have a need to move to executive session for medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to an appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation. And there will be no need for a vote afterwards. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll make it.
Thank you, David. And a second? Thank you, Sean. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you.